GK, Kevin Kane.
GK, great to be here.
I didn't know that you went to CBHS.
I did.
And I forgot that I spoke to you a lot when you were a freshman on the Memphis State basketball team.
That's right. I played on the junior varsity basketball team at Memphis, 75 through 77. It was Wayne Yates was the head coach of the varsity. Steve McHugh was our coach.
Steve was the assistant coach.
Steve was the assistant coach, and he coached the JV team. So that was a great experience. You know, we would play in the Coliseum back in those days at 5:30 in the afternoon. The varsity would play at 7:30. So we'd play teams like Big Charlie Fast and Shelby State and some of those Arkansas State and schools like that. It was a great experience.
So you didn't go past your sophomore year?
No. I was just happy to be there.
Was anybody on the sophomore team hot and made it?
Yeah. We had John Kilzer. I was teammates with John Kilzer, Steve Meacham, Dennis Isabel, Buster Hancock, Lee Applejack Sanders. He came from Sheffield. He was the leading scorer in the state. So over those 2 years, we had a number of varsity players that were scholarship players that played on the JV team. So,
ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Kane does a lot for our city. He's president and CEO of the Memphis Convention and Tourist Bureau, and he initiated the first. You really were the first guy to come along with Memphis, home of blues and rock and roll. Explain that, Kevin.
Well, GK, I'll take you back. It was 1991. And Cleveland had just been awarded the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You know, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was a TV show. It was a ceremony. It wasn't a bricks and mortar deal. And it kind of started this competition, DJs in a number of cities. We want to be home of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And Cleveland, ended up landing it. Cleveland was the first city in America to go file bankruptcy. A bunch of business leaders got together and said, we got to rejuvenate the city of Cleveland. And this was one of those first initiatives, and they put a lot of money and built the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And so at that time I said, we cannot stand back and let Cleveland be claiming rock and roll, and in St. Louis and Chicago and everybody else claiming the blues. We need to put our stake in the ground. So we came up with the tagline, home of the blues, birthplace of rock and roll. And there's no question about it. Rock and roll was born in Memphis, regardless of who came up with the phrase. Rock and roll started here. So, I think over the years we've kind of morphed into Memphis blues, soul, and rock and roll because we have such a great soul music heritage here. And that's the beauty of Memphis. We were such an agent of change on various musical genres. When you meet people and tell them the stories about, something as obscure as Neil Diamond and Sweet Caroline being recorded. People just can't believe this stuff. Yeah. And you were part of it, GK. You lived it and you were part of it. And I'll tell you, it changed the world. And it really changed Memphis forever because it became our brand. And, a lot of cities have a lot of great qualities. And we got a lot of great qualities in our city. But our brand is our musical heritage because our brand resonates with people from all over the planet, regardless if they can speak English or not. They all know the music.
You're exactly right, Kevin. I've been to England a lot on Elvis things. I go to Germany. I go to different countries and speak. But in London one day, I was there, and a cab went by, and they had a thing on the back of the cab talking about Memphis music.
That's right. We have, for 15 years, we have sponsored a taxi cab program. Right now, we currently have, I think, 15 taxi cabs rolling on the streets of London. You may be in Piccadilly Circus, you may be at Heathrow Airport, you may be at the Wimbledon tennis tournament, and all of a sudden there's a completely decked out Memphis taxi cab promoting our great city, and it's been really great. I love to hear the stories when people from Memphis all of a sudden see that Memphis taxi cab and they just lose their mind over it.
Graceland now, Kevin, 600,000 people a year. And last year, USA Magazine noted number 1 visited a celebrity's home in Memphis, right?
No question about it. It was voted the best iconic home in the United States. What's amazing to me, and here we got Elvis activities throughout the entire year, and not just in January for the birthday, not just in August for Elvis Week like we just celebrated a few weeks ago. We have Elvis activities throughout the whole year. 600,000+ people, and 60% of them are under the age of 35. So that means they weren't even alive when Elvis had been dead 5 years by the time these people were born, and that's over half of their visitors.
Man, they do great out there. Jack Soden does a marvelous job.
The new guest house at Graceland, which will open...
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
Which will open later this year.
October
27th. That is the largest single hotel that's been built since the Peabody 90 years ago. Peabody's 464 rooms. This is a 450-room hotel. We have not built a 450-room hotel since the Peabody was built in the 1920s.
And I'm going to be out there on the opening, me and Jerry Schilling, a lot of other people graciously bringing them in. But they also going to have a little room where they can put a guitar player and sing. They have a little restaurant there, and they have a whole lot of nice stuff. You have any inside information on the hotel yet?
Well, it's beautiful. I've been in the model of the guest rooms, and the bathrooms, the bedrooms, the whole guest room experience is just totally first class. The common areas, the restaurants, are going to have a sports bar in there. I mean, it's going to be just first class all the way around, and it's in a beautiful setting with a lot of trees, obviously on the same side of the street as the mansion is. And I will think eventually you'll be able to go from the hotel via a trolley or some golf cart or whatever, right over to the mansion for events and stuff. So,
Kane, he takes should get a lot of credit for what's happening in Memphis, what he's talking about. Kevin, quickly now, the notes on Bill Street. You got my note on Bill Street. You got Jerry Schilling's note on Bill Street. Johnny Robertson had Elvis's note put on Bill Street. And what I'm leading up to is Scotty Moore and DJ Fontana. I'm hearing a rumor their notes are going to go on Bill Street.
Absolutely. We honored DJ during Elvis Week, and he was very honored and humbled to receive it at the Elvis Insider events. We surprised him with his note on Beale Street. The note will be installed in the next couple of months. We're talking to Scotty Moore's family. He has family members still here in Memphis, and when we can get the family together at a later time, I think in conjunction with something that Henry Juskowitz wants to do at Gibson Guitars, we're going to honor Scotty Moore and present his family with the Scotty Moore note. It's hard to believe that Scotty Moore and DJ Fontana are not on Beale Street with everything they've done for Memphis.
They were two-thirds of what happened with rock and roll.
That's exactly right.
Kevin, you do a great job,
man. Thanks, CK.
And one of these days, I'm going to bring that award down and bring you back on this show. Several years ago, you gave me a great award, Spirit of Memphis.
Spirit of Memphis, GK. You've won that award. Sam Phillips has won that award. Rufus Thomas, Larry Finch. A lot of great Memphians that have had a tremendous impact in making our city what it is today, and you're one of those people,
Will
GK.
you do that if I bring the award
Absolutely.
back? We'll show it.
Absolutely.
KK, you tell your lady I said hello.
Will do, GK.
Kevin Kane, really a good guy.